Maragos, to be here with you today. I will continue where Mr. Jan stopped, just to explain where we stand in our cooperation right now. So I'm not going to go back to the history. First of all, on the new partnership agenda. That's to become. The process to prepare this new partnership agenda was launched at the last EU-Armenia Partnership Council. This was a meeting which was held in February this year, more than 1 month, in Brussels. And actually this is following the meetings in Granada, a fact-finding mission that we held last November, but even most importantly, the tasking by the European Council, the leaders of the European Union, which have asked High Representative Borrell and the European Commission, the EU institutions, to prepare options to develop EU-Armenia relations in all their dimensions. This is the basis, this is the mandate on the basis of which we are working right now. We expect that the new partnership agenda will update the existing partnership priorities, which were agreed back in 2017. Building on the SEPA, Mr. Jan mentioned about SEPA, you know about it, you have ratified it, but also Armenia's active participation in the Eastern Partnership. It will set new priorities for joint work in order to achieve the objectives of SEPA, but also to identify what we can do more. Several elements are being considered here: democracy, human rights, foreign and security policy, economic cooperation, sectoral issues, including energy, the green transition, trade issues, economic diversification, quality infrastructure to make sure that the products which are produced in Armenia are of a higher quality so that you can achieve better access to international markets, but also, more importantly, even mobility and people-to-people contacts. This new agenda will build on past cooperation, but will make it also more tangible. As we work on the new agenda, we don't remain idle. Work is ongoing in all areas. Both the EU and Armenian side agree that there has never been such a dynamic period in bilateral dialogue, but also in the development of the bilateral relations beyond dialogue. I want to cite in particular the presence of Foreign Minister Mirzoyan at the Foreign Affairs Council in Brussels late last year, the Partnership Council that we heard in February, but also the high-level meeting to be held tomorrow in Brussels. When it comes to the ongoing work, first of all, I want to stress the work on the implementation of SEPA, the Comprehensive and Enhanced Partnership Agreement. The key perspective is the full implementation of this agreement, focusing in particular on regulatory alignment, approximation of legislation, and reforms. The challenge lies in meeting the various standards that the Armenian side committed to, EU standards, in areas such as governance, human rights, environment, the green and the digital transition, but also in areas such as quality infrastructure, veterinary and phytosanitary controls. Mr. Yehoyan mentioned already the economic and investment plan that you know quite well. The EU's focus is now to accelerate its implementation. This will include work on the digital transformation, the green economy. This plan presents opportunities for Armenia to modernize its economy. To accelerate the implementation of the economic and investment plan, we have recently set up, together with the government, but also international financial institutions, an investment coordination platform, which is putting together all the stakeholders and aims to review the state of play of each one of the projects, each one of the flagships, and identify the actions to be taken to accelerate the relevant investments. Work is underway, but I want to urge more and faster implementation. As it was already mentioned, the Economic and Investment Plan has mobilized more than 550 million euro. You can make the calculation, but this is more than 230 billion drams. And I wish in particular here to mention the investments we have done in Green Yerevan, the support to the economy already mentioned by previous speaker and the private sector, but also our ongoing work in Syunik, where together with our member states, we have mobilized more than 120 million euro. There are more than 35 projects being implemented in Syunik as we speak. This is a Team Europe initiative, which is covering investments in infrastructure, notably small infrastructure, education, civil society, economic development, and employment, but also green agriculture. Many people in Armenia are focusing on security issues. I'm very pleased that we have advanced and enhanced our cooperation in security. And here I want to mention mainly 4 issues. First, our political and security dialogue with Armenia. The last meeting was in November. Very important meeting, very clear common objectives and very frank dialogue. And I want to thank the Armenian authorities for their commitment to that dialogue. Second, the presence of the EU civilian monitoring mission in Armenia, which is observing the situation on the Armenian side of the border, taking into account the challenges in security, and is contributing in a very clear way, very obvious to all Armenian people on the ground, contributing to human security in conflict-affected areas. Third, following a request by Armenia, the European Union is now considering support to the Armenian armed forces, non-lethal support, but a substantial one, I hope, and we all hope, to strengthen their capacities. This is under the European Peace Facility. And last but not least, let me repeat here that the European Union remains engaged and fully committed in promoting peace and normalization in the region. Our work with the EU Special Representative, Mr. Toivo Clark, but also the meetings which had been organized by President of the European Council are a testimony to that. We remain committed and we would like really this process to go back on track. Closing, I wish to stress 3 points. First of all, ownership. Very often I'm being asked what is the intention of the European Union in Armenia, what do you want to do with this new partnership agenda? My reply to this question is that the new partnership agenda is being shaped and will be shaped by both sides. And it is the ambition of the Armenian people and of all of you, and actually hearings like this one are extremely important. Thank you for organizing it. In order to shape an agenda which will take our partnership further. We share common values, we share our commitment to multilateralism and to a rules-based international order. This is extremely important, and I hope and I believe that we are going to achieve very concrete results together. So for these reforms that we are talking about, the reforms that you know very well how needed are in Armenia, we need ownership, stronger ownership, clear ownership by the authorities, by the civil society, by the institutions, the experts. Nobody should be left behind. You have the basis, it is about making sure that it works efficiently. So in this respect, I want in particular to stress the importance of public administration reform and the continuation of the democratic and institutional reforms. I'm very encouraged by the commitment of all interlocutors in making things happen, since actually I have arrived in Armenia last September. My second point is about rule of law and democracy. A well-functioning independent justice system, which includes a strong anti-corruption framework, will enhance the resilience of Armenia as it confronts various threats and challenges. Respect for the rule of law is a key requirement also to enable sustainable economic growth. Here, I also want to stress the legal framework for the functioning of private companies. We have a very strong legal framework in the EU on company law. This is very, very important, including other economic regulations, like, for instance, in the area of intellectual property. EU-Armenia cooperation is also crucial in respect to rule of law. I'm happy that we have concluded the negotiations on the agreement on Armenia's cooperation with Eurojust, which is going to be signed actually tomorrow in Brussels. This will enhance judicial cooperation in criminal matters, and its implementation will be based on a joint commitment to ensure high standards in protection of personal data, judicial independence, and rule of law. Here, I want also to say that we welcome Armenia's work and commitment on avoiding the circumvention of sanctions. My final point, and I know how much it is in your minds, is our support to refugees. The actions of the government, the local authorities, and in particular the common people in Armenia, have been remarkable so far. The European Union and its member states have already mobilized more than 60 million euro in humanitarian support, in budget support, and we are now discussing with the government further support, including for housing, for livelihoods, and we are also ready to prepare a comprehensive program empowering civil society to continue with the social and psychological support, but also other specific issues where actually the civil society may be best placed than the government. Dear friends, dear Deputy Minister, dear Mr. Yekoyan, the European Union is committed to take our partnership to a higher level. We will continue to work tirelessly to strengthen our ties, based on our commitment to joint values, our engagement in multilateralism, a rules-based international order. Next month, we are going to celebrate the Europe Day here in Armenia. In this context, we will organize an exhibition focusing on joint achievements, promoting our common European spirit, because we are all Europe. Thank you very much. Snorha Kalucha.